Hi, this is Dr. Darren Schmidt at the Nutritional Healing Center of Ann Arbor, and this video is about vitamin C is not ascorbic acid. I get comments and questions all the time. It's been a few years now because of one of my videos, so I'm answering the question right now fully, and I don't want to talk about it again after I finish this video. But what is ascorbic acid? A means without, ascorbic means scurvy. So this substance should stop scurvy. Scurvy is bleeding. It could be bleeding gums. It could be an artery that's bleeding, causing a heart attack. It could be an artery in the brain bleeding, causing a stroke. So ascorbic acid means without scurvy, it should prevent and reverse bleeding. So now ascorbic acid does two things, and this was discovered by the Albert Szent-Györgyi. He's the guy that discovered ascorbic acid. And here's the two things that it does. Number one, it's an acid, so it helps the immune system kill a virus, for example. It'll change the pH of the body, of the blood, of the lymphatic system so that the virus can't live very well, and it'll die in the acidic environment. The other thing that this does is it prevents fruit and other plants from turning brown, from changing color pigmentation. So let's talk about that one first. So Albert had discovered that when you add, for example, the juice of a lemon to a fruit, it will remain colorless. I found that the reason lay in the presence of a most fascinating substance which can reduce all quinones to phenol, and in this way prevent pigment formation. So he had figured out the chemistry and how to stop it, and he called this ascorbic acid. Now, there are people who have a disease called Addison's disease, which means that their adrenals aren't functioning very well. These people's skin turns a slight brown color, and their forehead is really big. Think of John F. Kennedy. Now, ascorbic acid will bleach out their skin, and it says right here, ascorbic acid dosage, bleached out patients with Addison's disease. So this is a thing that he had discovered, was talking about and interested in, and trying to figure out the chemistry behind ascorbic acid. Okay, so moving ahead, this is from the A. Vitaminosis book, 1944. He had a friend that was bleeding, and he sent him some ascorbic acid, and in the form of paprika, and it worked. But then he found out later that ascorbic acid alone did not work. So here's what it said. I had a letter from an Austrian colleague who was suffering from a severe hemorrhagic diathesis, meaning he was just bleeding a lot. He wanted to try ascorbic acid in his condition. Possessing at that time no sufficient quantities of crystalline ascorbic acid, I sent him a preparation of paprika that contained much ascorbic acid, and the man was cured by it. Later, with a friend, we tried to produce the same therapeutic effect in similar conditions with pure ascorbic acid, but we obtained no response. It was evident that the action of paprika was due to some other substance present in this plant. It would have been a hopeless job to try and find and isolate the substance had we not had our experience with flavones. So we had discovered and worked with plant chemicals called flavones, and he found one of them was the most active substance in paprika that helped this guy out, and they labeled it vitamin P. P is in paprika, and also permeability, and it goes on to explain exactly why he called it vitamin P. So there you go. So whole food vitamin C has vitamin P in it, and it prevents heart disease, and it prevents stroke. And ascorbic acid does not do that. It does help the immune system because it's an acid, and it'll prevent fruit from turning brown, and that's basically all that that's worth. Now, some people have asked me, what about Linus Pauling and Matthias Rath? These are two men that created protocols for heart disease, and you can look them up. Linus Pauling has passed away, but Matthias Rath has taken on this effort. And people ask me, have they been duped? Because they recommend 3,000 or 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C, or of ascorbic acid. And I say, yes, they have been duped, because you don't need this to prevent heart disease. As a matter of fact, it does a very poor job of it. I've seen it over and over again clinically in my own practice. What's important is you get the whole food vitamin C, and one of my favorite companies sells that, Standard Process, and I see results over and over again. And whole food vitamin C has a little bit of this in it. Maybe like 3 to 5% of whole food vitamin C has ascorbic acid. And so that's another thing people ask me, why does Cataplex C from Standard Process have ascorbic acid in it in the first place? Well, because this is part of whole food vitamin C. Whole food vitamin C is a big complex. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, and I hope this ends any sort of debate or questioning on what is the difference between vitamin C and ascorbic acid. You want to take vitamin C to heal your body. If you take ascorbic acid, it's to help you with the virus, but to be honest, there's other supplements that are way more important and way more effective to help your immune system get rid of a virus. So if you like this information, please give me a thumbs up, share and subscribe. I'm glad to just get this off my chest. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm done with the questions. I'm just going to refer you to this video. I'm glad that you watched it, and I hope this answers everything about it. But that's the way it was back then. There was great research prior to World War II, and then it all got convoluted in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And that's when Linus Pauling was popular back in the 70s. So yes, he did not have the correct information. All right, if you like this, give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. Thanks.